Okay, amazing. I love sharing the insights that I have with my clients on here, because I know their struggles are not unique, right? I know one person's struggle can be similar to so many other women, and this is why I share a lot of this. And here's a conversation that I had yesterday with one of my amazing clients. She's an amazing mom, right? And we are trying to get into the routine. She wants to exercise. She's choosing to exercise. Not everybody in my program exercises, and that is okay, right? Again, this is the whole idea around tailoring the approach to the person in front of me. Some people say, you know what, Yusra, I don't really want to exercise. I just want to focus on my meals and mental well-being and walking and stuff like that. And that is absolutely cool. This particular amazing athlete, she wants to exercise, but she has a small baby and she was finding it really hard to stay consistent with it, right? Even though the workouts are broken down and stuff like that. So we're having a conversation, and I just asked her, what is a challenge? What is a challenge with exercising? And she goes, because I don't have anybody to look after the baby, right, while I'm working out. So I have to wait for my husband to come back from work and look after the baby. And that is a legit reason, absolutely legit reason. It's hard when you have young babies, right? And then my next question was, what happens? What do you do when baby's taking a nap, right? What kind of things do you do? And she goes, oh, it's the time that I like to chill, which again is legit. That is a very legit reason. You've been with baby all day, right? When baby's taking a nap, an hour and a half, even half an hour, all you want to do is you just kind of want to sit down and scroll through social media and stuff like that. No judgment there, right? But here's the thing. When we want to look after our health, we need to get a little creative in how we spend our time. Again, if the athlete says, no, I really don't want to work out, that's absolutely okay. But she wants to work out, but she's finding it hard, right? And this is where the whole idea around, okay, let's slow down to create a strategy that can work for you. So when we want to do things and we haven't got time, it's very much around being creative. Now here, as we were having this conversation, for her, it was very much around when the baby sleeps, I either chill or I exercise. There's a lot of or that we add in as moms, right? I either look after my family or I look after me, right? I either do X or I do Y. Almost like it's a dichotomy. It's a dichotomous way of thinking, but it's a false dichotomy, right? And all I did was ask is, what if you did both? What if you did both? What if when the baby slept, you spent 5 minutes doing a movement, doing a quick workout, and then the rest of the time you're relaxing? What if when the baby sleeps, you spend 10 minutes doing a workout, and then the rest of the time you chill? That way you get to chill and you get to exercise. And she goes, oh yeah, I used to do that before. I'll get back into it, right? And most of the time, I notice is literally small insights like that. Is, yeah, I don't have to do one or the other. It doesn't have to be and. It doesn't have to be or. It can be an and on there. I can do this and I can do that, instead of I have to do this or I have to do that. The same way people think, I'm either working on losing weight or I'm having my cake and cookies. Why should the two be sort of, they're not mutually exclusive. You can look after your health and you can have a cake and cookie. It's not an or. And the pressure and the stresses that we put on ourselves is because we always tend to think that it has to be one or the other. We create these rules around how we should do things. I can either do A or I can do B. I can't do both, right? I can either be a mom or I can be fit and healthy. What if you can be a mom and fit and healthy? Right? And so after having that conversation, it was almost like, yeah, I can do that. And again, this is very much around this is a kind of mentality we want to approach, especially when we have young kids, especially when we have other responsibilities. Because if we only use or, ladies, the or will always prioritize the other thing other than your health. Because everything else will seem more important. I assure you, everything else will seem more important than your health, than your well-being, than you. But if you say, you know what? My life is busy right now. The kids are home. I have to do this. I have to do that. Instead of going, oh, you know what? I either have to do that or that. What if you say, you know, my life is busy right now. Okay. And I want to work out. So how can I make it happen? When you automatically put yourself, your workouts and the nutrition as a non-negotiable, it's not an optional thing. It's not a thing that you do when it's convenient or when you have time or when everything else slows down. When you make it a non-negotiable and you put the end in there, it's me and everything else, you find a way to make it work because you're coming from a different perspective. You're coming from a different thought process. You're coming from a different lens. So the next time you're trying to negotiate between your health or the kids being on holiday, right? Between your health or staying with mother-in-law, just swap the or and replace it with an and on there and see what happens. One of the reasons I work the way I do in the fitness space, in the health and fitness space, and why I incorporate a lot of psychology in what I do is because a lot of fitness nutrition stuff is missing two things. Number one, it separates physical health from mental health. It separates the physiology from the psychology. It's almost like these two entities are unique. They aren't. I shared a post yesterday, and from my experience of working with women, the majority of them don't have a nutrition problem. It's a behavior problem. And the behavior is stemming from somewhere. Either inability to regulate our emotions, and we all go through this. This is not judgment. We all go through this. Nobody's perfect. We all struggle. Life is hard. It's not judgment. It's about building awareness and understanding and then taking actions to make it better. That's it. That's it. Right? So a lot of the programs, they only look at nutrition and exercise. They forget all these underlying drivers that actually impact our nutrition and eating. If you're stressed out and you're anxious and you're angry and you're feeling down, you're not going to go, oh, I'm going to go home and have that salad that's in the fridge, or, oh, I'm going to have that piece of grilled chicken. You're not going to do that, especially if you're someone who emotionally is. You're going to go home, open the fridge and inhale a box of cookies, or have that whole cake that you bought yesterday that you told yourself you're just going to have a small portion. No, you inhale it. Is the cake the problem, or the driver that led you to eating that cake that's the problem? Right? Is it because you love cake so much, or there are underlying feelings on there and emotions that you didn't know how to cope with, or you thought, you know what, I want to feel better even for a moment, and I know cake makes me feel better, so you went for the cake. It's not about the food. And a lot of the programs exclude nutrition and exercise away from our mental well-being, our thought processes, our feelings, not realizing that actually how we think and feel will dictate our actions, will dictate our behaviors. And the behaviors are often nutrition, fitness, people who drink alcohol, people who take drugs and stuff like that. They stem from here, from the psychology. So how do we expect to change the output, the behaviors, if we're not ready to look into what the drivers were, which is the input? It doesn't work. So the biggest chunk of what I do is literally getting into your brain and going, hang on, what were you thinking there? What do you think that's happening? Where else in your life do you think you exhibit and engage in these behaviors? Because I promise you, how you do one thing in one area of your life, chances are you do the same thing in other areas of your life, whether in your relationships or work or friendships. And then when you change one thing from one area, you start then to see the ripple effect in all the other areas. So that's one of the reasons why I work the way I do. Bridging the gap between mental health and physical health, because they're all so interconnected. The second reason of why I do the way I do and the level of customization that I have is because a lot of the program out there are not catered for busy moms like you and me, for moms who have so much on their plate and so many other responsibilities. Some of us work from home, some of us go to work, some of us are homeschooling children, some of us are juggling so many young kids, alhamdulillah. We have a lot going on. And majority of these programs don't cater for busy moms like you and I. And then in the end, what tends to happen is we get so excited, right? And then 1 week goes, a couple of weeks go, and then it starts to get overwhelming and you can't stick with it. You start to feel incompetent. You start to feel like a failure. And then guess what you stop. And then a few months down the line, when you start to feel crap about your body again, you look in the mirror and go, oh my God, I need to lose this weight. There's a wedding coming. You know, all the stories we tell ourselves, right? Then you look for another diet that is, again, unrealistic because you're a busy mom. You haven't got time to go on diets and prep meal plans and work out 7 days a week, right? So you start the other thing again. Again, you do it for a couple of weeks and then it gets too much. It goes too overwhelming. The kids start to get sick, right? And then the holiday comes in and then you have to travel and then you have to deal with the in-laws and stuff. And then as a result, you stop that again. So it becomes this endless cycle of starting and stopping, and it just doesn't stop. And in the end, when someone tells you, what are your challenges? You're going, oh, I don't have time. Of course you don't have time. Because the programs that you're engaging in need a lot of time. They're asking a lot of your time that you don't have. So what if you could have a program that actually merges with your busy life, right? That actually complements your busy life, that allows you to actually show up in your busy life in a way that serves you, with lots of energy, lots of confidence, right? And lots of health. Right? Whatever program that you're working with, it needs to fit your lifestyle. What's already there. Problem with a lot of programs out there is that they force you to change your lifestyle and fit the program instead of being the other way around. The same way with business, right? Our business and how we run business needs to be an extension of our lives. But our lives shouldn't be the extension of our businesses. Same thing when it comes to health and wellness. It has to fit into your life. That's the only way you make it work. That's the only way you make it sustainable. And that is exactly why I work the way I do. Making sure whatever strategies my clients, the amazing women that I work with follow as strategies they can stick with long term. I bring in my expertise of fitness and nutrition. They bring in the expertise of their lives. And then I see from what I know from fitness and nutrition, what is the best strategy that can fit perfectly into their lives. That's how we do it. And if you've seen my testimonials, alhamdulillah, that's how they're able to make it work. I would love to take the credit for it, but they're the ones doing all the work. I'm just walking alongside them. I'm just guiding them. I'm just going, try this, try that. Have you tried this? Have you thought about this? And then they incorporate that in their lives, the way that they can sustain, and boom. And not only do they lose weight, but they see shifts in all these other areas of their lives. Because remember, we said how you do one thing is how you do everything. So you start to change your thought processes. You start to respond to life versus reacting. And what you tend to see, not only does your nutrition change, because now you're actually responding to your cravings and stuff like that, how you work starts to change, right? How you think about yourself starts to change. How your relationship starts to change. How you show up in your relationship starts to change. It's this ripple effect that starts to happen because you are the center of every single thing. Your experiences, your thoughts, your feelings, your human experience. You are the center of your eating, of your movement, of your relationships, of your work, of everything is you. So when you're working on changing all these other things, you have to start working on you. Okay? I hope this was helpful. I really do. And a couple of things. So try the end, remove the or. If you really want to work out, if you really want to eat well and stuff like that, if that is your goal, then remove the or. Go, okay, my life is busy right now. How do I handle this busy life and look after my health? And then if you're struggling, let's have a conversation. Like I said, it's what I do. I work the way I do because I know it's not out there. Other programs don't coach the way I do. Don't approach nutrition and exercise the way I do. Because it all matters. It really all matters. Okay? All right. I'll talk to you guys soon. Assalamu alaikum. Bye-bye.